My name is Tim Gernand at thedbalawyer.com, and one of the questions that I get asked is, do I need a lawyer to handle my DBA claim? So there's a few ways to look at this. The first and most obvious answer is no. So technically for this or any other legal claim that you can imagine, you are permitted to represent yourself. That's something that you have the right to do, and no one can take that away from you. Now, that being said, there are a number of reasons why I would encourage you and recommend that you consider having a lawyer for your DBA claim. So first is complexity. One analogy I like to look at is with a house. So something breaks in your house, well, there's a scale of complexity there. So for more simple things, we're happy to go and take care of that problem ourselves. Say the toilet is running, or say there's a small leak in the faucet, or say there's a clog in a drain somewhere. That's something that we can handle ourselves frequently because it's a fairly simple task. Then you have perhaps more complex tasks. Say there's a major electrical issue in your home. Do you feel comfortable tackling that yourself? I know I wouldn't, because the chance of me doing something wrong, either hurting myself or damaging the house, is much greater when you're dealing with an issue of greater complexity like an electrical problem. So it's the same way with the DBA claim. The DBA claim, from an outsider's perspective who's never looked at this before, it is incredibly complex, even to someone who has been doing it for a while. However, as someone who's been doing this for a while, and other DBA attorneys can attest, that complexity kind of starts to become more clear in your mind. The cases are not as difficult as they would first appear to someone who's never had any experience with them. So that's one reason why you should bring on a lawyer in your case, is to help deal with that complexity for you. Another issue is cost. So when you bring on an attorney to your DBA claim, if for some reason you're not successful, then you won't owe your attorney anything. So there's nothing that you're going to lose in that scenario. Now, if you win your claim, the attorney's fees are not paid out of what is awarded to you. So say you settle your claim, well, then your claim is settled for the amount that the insurance company and you agree on. And then separately, a fee award is entered into for the attorney. And that amount, unlike, say, a personal injury attorney, so the personal injury, generally they're going to be taking a percentage of whatever you get. That's not how it works. Here it's based on the actual time that we put into the case. So you can rest assured that a certain percentage of the amount that you wind up getting from either your settlement is not going to be taken out of from what you got and go to the attorney instead. Now, the other way it can resolve is by going to a formal hearing. And if you go to a formal hearing and the administrative law judge decides that you're entitled to weekly compensation and you get that award, then completely separate to that, the attorney's fees are entered into and argued over between myself and the insurance carrier. And so again, that has no bearing whatsoever on your award from that whole process. So that's a good reason to bring on an attorney in a DBA case. And then finally, it's just having someone in your corner. So at least in my experience in dealing with these cases, you're seeing clients who are going through a very difficult time in their lives because, one, they're injured, and two, their ability to work has been in some ways limited or is completely lost, and they're unable to work at all. So in those situations, the clients are often emotional or dealing with the fallout from not being able to provide for their families, perhaps. And so when you're in that state, it can be difficult to deal with your case in a purely objective way, which is what is necessary in order to achieve the best result. If you alone were handling this case as you work through the process and as you start to perhaps negotiate with the insurance company, it can be easy to let your emotions get the better of you, and that could potentially impact the amount that you wind up receiving because you might not be able to negotiate effectively while you're in that state. But whenever you bring in an attorney, the attorney can negotiate on your behalf. I can give you advice. I can explain to you what I've seen in other cases, and so that can help you feel a lot better about your position. While, of course, we can never know exactly what's going to happen in your case, and no attorney can ever promise you a specific result, you at least can take some comfort in knowing that the attorney can say, oh, well, I've seen this before, and your case seems to be falling in line with a certain pattern that I've noticed in my cases, or a pattern of behavior that I've seen from the insurance companies. So that can help you categorize and process what's happening in your case and feel better about the result that you're going to get. So for all those reasons and others, I think that it's very helpful, important, and critical to bring on a lawyer to help you with your Defense Base Act claim. If you have any more questions, definitely reach out to us. The email and phone number is in the description. You can also use WhatsApp with the phone number if you're located overseas. And you can go to thedbalawyer.com. Again, my name is Tim Gernand, U.S. Marine veteran, proud to serve and support our federal contractors who've worked overseas and are interested in getting compensation for those injuries that they received overseas. Thank you.